Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good.
Hey, you're Ashinya. Yeah. So where do I? Hello. Good morning to you all. And it's a pleasure to be your mentor this morning. 18 years ago, I also represented my secondary school on the National Science and Maths Quiz. So it's actually a very wonderful experience and a privilege to meet you on the same program, to talk to you. I'm also reflecting how far I had come and the mixed experiences I had during the National Science and Maths Quiz. I represented a Girls Secondary School, although they are not here today, but I know the quiz mistress is also an alumni of a Girls Secondary School, so I'm not making you jealous anyway, but I still have to be proud of my school. So this morning, I just want to talk about, from my experience, a few things that we need to know about as young people. To have the opportunity to represent your school on the National Science and Maths Quiz is not a trivial thing. It's a big deal. It also tells you that you are on your way to becoming part of the leadership that will move this country forward and beyond. So it is not just sitting here for a competition between schools, but actually the beginning of a very big leadership journey, and that is how I want you to see it. So the first thing about becoming successful or becoming a leader in your field is, first of all, for you to know that you already have all it takes to make it to the top. This is something you have to believe. It is the reality. No matter where you were born, no matter which family you come from, no matter which tribe you come from, and whatever it is, you have all that it takes to make it. It sounds theoretical, but in practice, that is the reality, and a lot depends on you. So after you believe that you have all it takes to make it or to become successful, the next thing is for you to determine in life what you want to be and have a dream, and then believe also in that dream. The truth is, you are the most important person who should believe in your dream. And if you do not believe in your dream, chances are that nobody else is also going to believe in that dream. So it is your single most important responsibility to believe in that dream and everything that you need to do to make sure that it becomes successful. I remember that when we finished university and we were about to start work, our senior colleagues were telling us, life is not easy, but they never said what it was that was difficult about life. I think it was not easy for them also to define the difficulty about life. But the truth is that the success journey is not a smooth one. And so the focus should not be about not failing. But when you fail, you have to learn from your experiences. And then that should build you up as you grow up. So as young as you are, I'm sure you have already realized that life is not easy. The last time, my daughter got back from school, and she just chalked her jaws with her hand, thinking very deep. When I saw her, the first thing was that I laughed because I thought that I had greater problems. But even at her age, at 8, she has problems. So I asked her what the problem was. And she said, Mommy, how would you feel if somebody snatched your friend from you in school, if your best friend is becoming best friends with another person? You see? So at her level, that is her problem. So that is the stages of life. That is how it is. At that level, that is her problem. As you grow, you would have different problems in your professional journey, in your social life and all that. And life is not supposed to be a very smooth one. Just to encourage you that it's not a smooth process, you would encounter a few obstacles, but when you do, the most important thing is for you to learn from them and quickly move on. I also want to talk about a few things that you have to be aware of that can distract you. I believe in having a plan for your life, but don't be too stiff about plans. So you can say that you want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be an artist. Growing up, I wanted to be a model. Then I realized I was too short. So I needed to change my focus. And then I also wanted to be a fashion designer, a big-time international fashion designer. And my dad wanted me to be a doctor. So every time he would say, you know what, if you top your class, I'll give you this amount of money. And it was usually a huge amount of money. So I learned very hard. And then I ended up in medical school. I do not regret being a doctor. I love my job, and I've made a lot of strides in it. So I believe that you should have a plan, but don't be too stiff on your plans. You may want to be a lawyer, but there might just be another opportunity for you to be a pilot, or for you to be even a teacher who makes greater impact. So have a plan, but open your mind, be open-minded to see opportunities as you walk through life. That is what I want to say about planning for your life. But you should also be aware of distractors, such as alcohol. Alcohol causes a lot of problems. It disinhibits your brain, and it gives you some form of euphoria. And so there's that tendency that once you start drinking, you are going to continue drinking, and before you realize, you are off your target. So it is important that as young people, as we try to build ourselves up into the leaders that this country needs, we are very cautious about alcohol abuse and what it can do to us. It's very important. Another distractor that you should be aware about is the use of drugs. So yesterday was World Drugs Day, for those of you who have been following on social media. And we were educating people to stay away from drugs. And that is one of the things that can also distract you from accomplishing who you want to become in your life. Then you also have to be aware about your relationship with the opposite sex. When I was in secondary school, we had a visit from Marie Stopes International. They came to mentor us. So the first question they asked was, how many of you have boyfriends? And everybody was shy, but the bold ones raised their hands. And so the facilitator said, well, that means that the rest of you who don't have boyfriends, you are abnormal. I mean, she was just joking. She was trying to say that it is normal for you to have friends, but you need to really define the scope of that relationship. We will not pretend to say that at this age, people don't have relationships. It is better we face the reality and tell you how to go about it. Even my son, he's 10 years old, but the last time I was having a chat with him, and I tried to find out, so who are his best friends in class? He was mentioning the names and was mentioning all boys. Then I realized that there was one name that was quite difficult to come. And when it finally came, it was a lady's name. So it is part of growing up, and social development. You feel attracted to the opposite sex and all that, but it is very important for you to define the scope of that relationship and make sure that it is not distracting you from what you have come to school to do. The truth is there is time for everything. And some of the things you are rushing now to do, when you grow up, you have enough of it, you even get tired. So why don't you focus now on building your foundation? Because without the foundation, you cannot have the structure on top that you need. That is the reality of life. And the last one I wanted to talk about is the company that we keep as young people. It is very, very important. Our brain is a very funny organ. Every information that it picks up, it processes that information, and that information influences your behavior. So it is very important, the company that you keep. If you keep company with people who do very well in class, certainly you'll be motivated to do well in class. If you pick company with people who are always gossiping, certainly you are going to be investing your time in gossiping. You are gossiping about other people, but they are living their lives, and you are losing your time. So have very healthy conversations with your friends. It is part of what builds you up to become what you want to see. The final thing I wanted to talk about before inviting questions is that everyone needs a mentor. And so you have to identify somebody who is at the place that you want to go. Those people have stepped in those shoes. They have made some of the mistakes. They have learned from them. They can advise you so that you don't have to make the same mistake. So have a mentor. Have a mentor. Have a mentor. That is very important. I want to thank you all for listening and for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ayura.
Yeah.
So we're inviting questions now. Question time, please. Any question?
I know your teachers are here, but feel free and ask the questions. You have a question? Okay.
Waiting for a question. Then Doc is going to ask you a question if you don't ask her. Are you ready for her question?
I know that if your teachers were not here, you would have had so many questions.
Okay, we have a question.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask, during your presentation, you said sometimes we have to be open-minded. So as we are going through life, we should try new things and stuff. But supposing you are like a genius, you're good at a lot of things, you can tend to move with the wind. You will not be able to center on one particular thing and then do it to the fullest of your ability. So how can you curb that?
Thank you very much. I think that is a very brilliant question. The question is that we said that we should be focused, but be open for opportunities. And how do we make sure that as we keep our minds open, we are not being swayed off and getting finally unfocused? Is that not it? Okay, so let me give you an example. I had a friend who also wanted to go to medical school, but unfortunately, she couldn't make it. So then she decided to go into accounting, okay? And then finally became a chartered accountant and ended up working with one of the top firms in Ghana and internationally, PricewaterhouseCoopers. So, I mean, right from beginning, she wants to be a doctor, but there were other doors that were opening to her. You don't need to shut yourself down because maybe you wanted to be a pilot and your parents cannot afford that kind of education, or you are not getting the opportunity to become a pilot. But there might just be another door that is opened and staring at you. But because you are so fixated on that initial thought, you can't even see that another opportunity is opened. Okay, and today as a chartered accountant working with PricewaterhouseCoopers, she doesn't regret becoming a chartered accountant. And she actually tells me that she prefers this job that she does now from becoming a doctor. And I actually like her job too, you know. So that is an example of keeping your mind open, have a plan, keep your mind open, and whenever there's an opportunity, so that you can see that opportunity as well. There's a lot to do. It's just that traditionally, growing up, your parents want you to be this or to be that. But it's also about what you also want to be. What are you good at? You have to focus on your strength. That is what you can do really best, compared to something you are not so good at. But because your parents want you to do, you really want to do that. So have a plan, but be open-minded for other opportunities as well. Yeah, I hope this helps. Okay.
A hand of applause for her, Doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ayram, for that insightful talk. Once again, thank you all for your participation in this session. And once again, it's being sponsored by GWOL. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Please, when you're done with the questionnaires, kindly pass it on.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy. Here's innovation from GOIL